Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm just going to read the opening statement for the Toronto Theosophical Society. So the Theosophical Society was founded in 1875 in New York City by H.P. Blavatsky, Colonel H.S. Olcott, William Q. Judge, and others as an international organization, and the charter of the Toronto Theosophical Society was issued in 1891. The society has the following three objects: to form a nucleus of the universal brotherhood of humanity without distinction of race, creed, sex, caste, or color, to encourage the study of comparative religion, philosophy, and science, and to investigate the unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in man. No statement made on the Society's platform bears any authority beyond its own appeal, and the Society is not responsible for any views expressed. Each person is expected to show the same tolerance for the opinions of others as they would expect for their own. And now I'm going to welcome Frida up. She's just going to say a few words before we pass it over to Eva again.
Yes. So thanks, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody's enjoying the 7-ray workshop today. I'm just going to remind you of a couple of upcoming things, and I have to confirm some things with Daniel. But our next lecture hall, and this workshop actually started because of a lecture that Eva gave, and we got feedback from a group of you that you wanted more. So, again, if you like a topic and you want to say, oh, yeah, I'd like to learn more about that, please do let us know. And then June 15th, Daniel will be talking about his trip to Mount Kailash, which I think you're going to find really good. And just in case nobody knows, he's on his way to Mongolia and discovery of Shambhala. So God bless him, and we wish him well on that trip. The other interesting thing we have coming up is it's called our expedition. And our expedition this year, we're doing parts of Toronto. We did Etobicoke last year. This year, we're doing the old borough of York, which has been very hard for us to figure out. I do have a map now where I've outlined it. It goes actually from almost here. It goes from just south of here in the Allen and Bathurst Street, goes west to the Humber River, roughly between St. Clair and north of Eglinton. So, and then it includes Weston, which is up in the northwest corner, and it also includes part of the parks that are in the lower Humber River. So it's got a very odd shape, but we'll be focusing on Weston. So it's a 3-day expedition where you get to explore part of the city you've probably never been to. We go to different restaurants in the area. We go to museums. We're going to do a history walk. There'll probably be a hike. It depends on your fitness level. You can pick and choose what you want. I prefer that you come if you're going to come for a day, come for the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, and then we'll meet back here. We'll probably meet here in the morning and go by various vehicles. And then we're going to meet back here on the Sunday evening, probably around 4. We'll have a meal together. And anyone else who hasn't been on the expedition wants to hear about it, you can come and just hear our informal results. So what we do is we look before we go and after at the level of consciousness. The purpose is we want to raise the level of consciousness of our city. And that's the purpose of our expedition. And we do it by learning, by meeting people, by physically going to the property, by blessing it. So there's a lot of things that we do to help raise that vibratory rate. So if you're interested, come and talk to me. And then the summer, we haven't planned any lectures for the summer, but if there is interest, please let Daniel and I know, and we'll see if we can schedule some speakers for the summer. Okay, well, I'm delighted to bring Eva back. Yesterday, you heard about all the rays, and you heard about the personality. I expect you to be putting your pencil down and putting a number beside your personality. What personality ray are you on? Now we're going to learn about the soul. Keep going, and then maybe at the end, if we have time, each of us can present what we think our hypothesis. That's part of the plan. So make sure you're making some notes as you go. All right.
As a matter of fact, we're going to need that whiteboard that's in the other room.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to bring that in, because usually it's if you flip the papers, but I noticed you're out of paper there. So the whiteboard will have to do. Okay, so it looks smaller than usual. Is that how it was yesterday? Okay, well, From my angle, it's smaller. Okay, guys. So Frida already summarized what you know, right? You know all that. You know the personality and you know all the rays. We don't have to go over that again. So now we're going to look at what makes up the personality. And we now know that there are three vehicles that make up the personality. We'll start with the mental body, which is the deciding factor, really. When I won't go into a divergent, let's leave it at that. Okay, so the mental vehicle is our concrete mind. So notice that it says concrete, which is our everyday thinking. How we learn, we write, we string our thoughts together. It is the way we analyze, we gather and process data, and problem solve. This includes adaptability or lack thereof within the mind. The possible rays on the mental vehicle from the most common to the least are 5, and I will show you the planes and you'll understand why. 5 is the most common one. 4 is the next common one because we humanity are governed by the 4th ray. 1 is also available, and 3 only for disciples. If you're not a disciple, you would not have 3rd ray on the mind. It's a very brainy, smart ray, and unless you're a disciple, you're not mentally sufficiently evolved to have 3rd ray on the mind. Okay, and rarer are 7 and 2, although I think part of DK's 24 students, whatever disciples, there was somebody with a 2nd ray on the mind. So it's not it's not impossible. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. It's not impossible. It's just rare. Okay. So that doesn't work. Let's see if this works. No, 6 is not for the mind. 6 is for the emotions. So it didn't qualities for a 5th ray mind. There's something here, but I have to maybe say okay on this because it's blocking my, there it is. Okay. So the qualities for a 5th ray mind, we're going to go over the mind quite a bit because it is the mind and the personality and the choice between them that is very difficult for all of us to make because we think with our minds and we are identified with our thinking process and the way we think we are. So what is the personality? What is the mind? So a 5th ray mind, which is the most common, as we said, would be scientific. You would do okay with science at school. It's a questioning mind. It's curious. It asks questions. It's inquiring, investigative, probing mind. Again, not all 5th ray minds have all these qualities. Some, right? Precise, accurate, exact, correct mind, no fuzzy edges. Highly focused, concentrated mind. It likes a process. It can be laser-like. It can be concrete versus abstract, and it is concrete versus abstract. As a matter of fact, most fifth ray minds have difficulty with the abstract. So I always wonder about physics, those that end up with professions that require you to have physics. What kind of mind is that? Because 5th ray has a hard time with the abstract, and physics is all abstract. It's acutely analytical, discriminative, separating mind. It takes things apart in order to understand the whole. It's the same thing as the 5th ray we talked about. It's keen, it's sharp, it's a defining mind. It likes dictionaries, it likes to understand, it defines the words, hard edges. It can be very definite, detailed thought process, and it can focus on the minutiae. Because it is, after all, a detailed mind. No detail is too small to be considered relevant. And it is a literal mind that doesn't deal in multiple levels of interpretation. So it's a linear approach. It's a plotting mind. It goes from step to step to step. Sequential methodology. I remember when I was first learning how to ski, I would say to the instructor, give me the method, show me the method, and they would try to explain the method. I finally had to have them show me because their explanation wasn't precise enough for me, even though I don't have fifth ray in the mind, but I thought I did. Lucid, light bestowing, truthful mind, clarity. Any questions on qualities of the fifth ray mind?
I think it's structured too, likes to organize things and structure.
Mhm.
Like when you look at writing, it's usually you like charts or you like,
Graphs, charts, all of that. Yes, yes. Columns. There's also a way in which you take notes, which we'll go into a little later on. The way you take notes, do you take notes like each thing on each line? Is it all scribbled a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there? Are your notes following some kind of an order? That would also indicate the way your mind works, how you write notes, how you take notes.
Question.
Mhm.
When I was in high school, I found it like very, very difficult to be a good sportsman. And then it's because for example, when I play volleyball, I always think about step 1, step 2, step 3 to throw the ball. And that's why it's so hard for me to be fluent, because in sports, especially if the team's getting better and better, it has to be fluent everything. Like you have to drop your concrete mind and then just go with the flow.
Right.
Is it part of the fifth grade that you do?
If you go through the steps in your mind, then I would say, yeah.
Okay.
It kind of makes sense. There's more here on the fifth ray. It's a fact ascertaining mind. My husband, he had a fifth ray mind, and I found this always very interesting. Whenever we had to buy a car, what he would do is he would get all the facts from each car that we were considering. So let's say with 3 cars, all the facts here, all the facts here, and all the facts here, and then he'd compare them, right? Which one fits what we need, which one doesn't. And I found that so laborious. Like, just give me the end result. I didn't want all that. But that's data. You see, that's data, information, and it's fact ascertaining. It's an empirical mind. It needs proof, examines evidence, wants to see it for itself, needs the proof for it. Objective mind, clinical, descriptive, arm's length, mental detachment, impartial, unbiased mind. Ideally cares for the truth, disinterested, not involved emotionally. That would be great if most minds were like this, but they're not. Their emotions kick in and it influences the way we think, because we call that in Sanskrit kama manas, which is emotional mind. The mind thinks something, the emotions get activated, the emotions have a feeling, and that brings in a thought. So that is so built into our system that it's very, very hard to separate. And our objective as disciples, as students of the esoteric, is to separate the two. What is a feeling? What is our emotion? What is a detached thought without the feelings attached to it, which influences our way of thinking? It's a technical mind. It can handle technicalities, especially the details through knowledge. Mathematical, it quantifies, it enumerates, it measures, it's rational. A patient mind can sometimes think before it speaks. A critical mind doesn't color thoughts, stays neutral. The literary style is technical, clear, lucid, pedantic, which is tedious learning, precise, long-winded, and explanatory. It's not imaginative, and it's not an intuitive mind. Okay? Any questions so far? I think that takes care of the fifth ray for the mind. Right. So these are the qualities for a fourth ray mind. So now you just stop what you were doing with the fifth ray. And now we start looking at the fourth ray. What is the fourth ray? Harmony through conflict, right? It has the entire spectrum. It can see this side, it can see that side. So let's think of those qualities, descriptions as they would be in the mind. So it's a bridging mind. It bridges this to this, right? It links. It looks for similarities. It's a harmonizing, peacemaking mind, a synthetic grasp of the whole. So in other words, a fourth ray mind wants to get kind of gets the whole thing as opposed to each little piece, which fifth ray tends to do. Can see the part within the whole. It's a mediating mind. It can see both sides. It can act as a shuttle of information between the two. Reconciling mind, resolving mind, tries to resolve problems, sees the points in common, which is the same thing as finding similarities. What is common here? Therefore, it reconciles it. It unifies, integrates, synthesizes. It's a non-separative mind, which tends to be more flowing. It's more mercurial as opposed to Saturn. It's a weighing and balancing mind. It's interesting. It weighs this over this, as opposed to seeing the information on this and in the information on that. It kind of weighs the two. It's a little bit different way in which the mind works. Vacillating, ambivalent, and indecisive. This is where fourth ray has a hard time making a decision. Conflicted. Sometimes it's struggle-filled. Crisis stressed, sometimes difficulty stabilizing mental perspective. And so here we go into the argumentative mind. A lot of them are argumentative, contradicting, antagonistic, presenting the opposing point of view in order to find a place of balance. It's a receptive mind. Just give it to me. I just want to receive it, and can be passive. Rapid mental attunement and rapport, ability to get on the same wavelength. What words are not in here is that it's a reasoning mind. I should put that in there because I've come across that many times in DK's writing. And there's a difference between a reasoning mind versus an analytical mind. It took me a long time to come to terms with that, because I used to think I had a fifth ray mind. The fifth ray analyzes. And my friend, who I have a lot of respect for, who is one of the best astrologers I find in all of our esoteric community, said to me, "You don't analyze, Eva." I said, "I don't." She says, "No, you don't analyze. You kind of just get it." And I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I remember Michael Robbins said to me right at the beginning, when he first knew me back in the 80s, he says to me, "You have a reasoning mind." Well, what does that mean to me, a reasoning mind? I didn't know about all of that. He says, "Yeah, you reason things out." I didn't understand that. So I had to think about it for a long time. What is the difference between an analytical mind and a reasoning mind? So I'll leave that with you, because I'm not sure I even know the answer. I just know that there's a big difference between reasoning and analyzing. Okay? I'll leave that with you. It's a feeling mind. It's the kama manasic quality about the mind. It is intuitive. So sometimes it can be non-rationalizing, imaginistic. This is not my words. This is Michael's words. If you looked at Tapestry, those are his words. Yeah. Yeah, which you should skip through. There's really good books. This is where I got most of my information from. It's a mind that can make him, has imagination. It can think in pictures. I don't really, but it can. Word painting. Picture painting. So those kinds of minds can be very descriptive, right? It's a storytelling mind, dramatic, exaggerating mind, uses exaggeration to create contrast, aesthetic, beautiful, sensitive mind. It can see artistry in things that it looks at, musical, poetic, literary. Uses analogies and metaphors. So if I was to explain something, I would say, this is like something that would be a metaphor that I might use, or an analogy, or give you examples. Those are all metaphors, analogies. And I tend to do a lot of that, give examples so that it gives another perspective on things. A free associative, nonlinear. So you associate what you hear with something you already know. Paradoxical mind, opposites can both be true, loves to create paradoxes to entertain. And the way it learns, the literary style is dramatic, exaggerated, colorful, active, picturesque, and entertaining. Okay, questions? Questions? No, okay. So my buttons worked. First ray mind. It's a little rarer, but it's still around. It's a decisive mind. Why? Because it has the large point of view. We have to just keep it that's the most important thing to keep in mind for first ray. It has the large perspective, the large point of view. It's like the eagle's eye that sees everything. Therefore, it can make a decision just like that. That's why they can run companies, run corporations, be the president, because it has the overview of everything. That's the most important thing that you can think of. It doesn't have details, it doesn't need the details, and it's not particularly descriptive, and it doesn't use a lot of words. All of that I've just said to you, which is on this page. It's a mind for principles, not details. It thinks in wholes and broad things. It's concentrated, one-pointed. Remember, the first ray is like a line, it's like a point. Single-minded, ability to focus on one thought, to pursue its purpose. Can cut to the chase or cut to the bone or get to the point. And they are impatient with those that elaborate too long. Get to the point is what they will say. So what's the point of all of this, right? It's a synthesizing mind. It grasps the big picture like the bird's eye view. Doesn't change its mind often, but will if presented with new data. The mind is really not invested. It's a mind of few words. It's a critical mind as well. You'll notice that all the hard line rays on the mind are critical, whether it's third, fifth, or first, they're all critical. Second and fourth, well, second is very unusual on the mind, tend to be more receptive, more not as critical, doesn't have the sharp edges, doesn't have that definitiveness that the hard ray lines do. I mean, we think of hard lines, they're hard, right? So it's critical. It sees, whereas the second ray, the fourth ray is soft. It's rounded. It's more malleable. It's easier that way. It's an independent mind. It thinks for itself. Sometimes it doesn't share its thinking. It's an isolative thought processes. It arrives at its own conclusions, independence in thought. Any more? Yes. It can leap to conclusions very easily because of fearlessness. Many first-rate people do not take notes. Many first-rate people barely do homework. First-rate minds barely do homework. They just sit in class and they kind of get it. They just grasp the whole thing. I think I told you already, I'm speaking a lot of personal stuff, much more than I usually do. My son has a first-rate mind. And when he was in high school, he never brought home homework and he never did anything really. I remember when he was a little kid in grade one, he said, I have to write a paper about an animal that I like. And I said, oh, okay, so what have you decided to do? I've decided to write about monkeys. Okay. So days are going by and I said, so what did you write? He says, oh, I wrote, monkeys live in trees and eat bananas. I said, that's it? He says, yeah, that's it. I said, Richard, you can't hand this in. It's not enough. Oh yeah, that's good. So when it was Parents' Day and I went and I spoke to the teacher, I said, you know, I never heard from you when he submitted his paper. I said, how could you approve that? Oh, but he's so cute. He's so adorable. So he got away with his charm, got away with his cuteness, and he was, even when he used to send a text, it was like 3 words, and I have to try to read between the words. What is he saying here? You know, it's shortcuts for everything. He does shortcuts for everything in life, shortcuts, right? And speed. I mean, he drives beautifully, but fast. The speed, get first rate. you know, in a straight line. So you see this and people around you. And then later on, what did I start to say? Later on, when he was in school, in high school, I went to the teachers and I said, can you give him homework? He doesn't bring home any homework. He says, he gets homework. I said, oh, well, he doesn't do any homework. So it just goes to show how his particular first-rate mind worked. Now, my sister has a first-rate personality. So she doesn't have that. She has a fifth-rate mind, first-rate personality. But her writing in emails are also very cryptic. Very, very cryptic. And when we had our center and she would collect money, let's say we had a bookstore and whatever, she'd collect money and give me an envelope with 3 words on it. And I had to try to figure out what the hell does this mean? Because again, that first ray of no detail and lack of precision about this and this and this, it was 3 words or 4 words. And we had more fights over that because I didn't understand. And I was the treasurer and I had to write everything down. Anyway, first rate, it can translate into personality as well, but we're not talking about the mind, so I should just keep it to the mind. It can, first rate prioritizes very easily. And it's an occult mind. It can pierce through the essential and deal with hidden reality. Do you think a first-rate mind would buy into angels and all this esoteric stuff? The answer is yes.
Yes.
It's an occult mind. Okay?
Your son, is this topic for us?
He doesn't do this. Well, my daughter now, yes, but my son, no. A lot of it is his wife too, you know. So the litter is strong, a little care for style of finish, dramatic, emphatic, hard lines. I remember he came to, when we had our center, he came to a class and we did a meditation. We always started with a meditation. He came out of this, he had never meditated in his life. He came out of this meditation and he explained what he had. It was like unbelievable. I'm thinking this kid has never meditated and his experience was unbelievable, but he's never pursued it, you see. There isn't that desire to want to know this. But I think he has the capacity for sure, you know, but
Maybe it's just like he's just focused on the tasks at hand and his.
probably.
Like,
And that's how most people live, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, what else have I got here? Third ray. I almost don't want to do third ray because I don't want to confuse you, because very few people have third ray on the mind unless you are a disciple, but you guys are disciples, so let's go with that. It says reasoning mind here as well, as it is for fourth ray. So rays 3 and 5 move in logical sequence. Highly analytical mind. It has the power to blend as well. It's an active mind, very busy, lots of chitta. You know what chitta is? Mental substance. You know, the mind is always thinking. It's highly activated. It's deductive, logical, non-empirical mind. It does not need proof. Tangential mind goes off on tangents. You know, it's like the ability to go out in space. This, sees that, star that. It has a big overview, not like the eagle's eye. The eagle's eye looks down and sees it all. They have to kind of pull strings. Okay, pull strings. But the strings are all there. It's just gathering it all together. It's a manipulative mind, the power to move thoughts relative to other thoughts. It can translate into the way one talks, the way one behaves, the way one writes, to be manipulative. But it can change things, you know. That's what manipulation does. It can move things around. There's a fluidity there. It's a qualifying mind. Wants to qualify what it says. Complex, involved thought process, deals with many, while first ray is simplicity. Intellectual mind, smart, brainy. I said critical mind, highly verbal. Michael Robbins, for those of you who ever knew him, he had a third ray mind. His writings are very verbose, lots of words and lots of intelligent words, you know. When I first met him, which was in 1987, and he came to Toronto with a team, and they taught us 7 rays. And I remember when he would speak, with Sandra Ezra was there, by the way, when he would speak, nobody could follow him. It was so fast. And this girl wrote notes all the time, and she put her hand all the time. Can you repeat that? He said, no, if you didn't get it, you missed it. So he wouldn't repeat. She couldn't keep up with the speed in which he was talking. He talked so fast that you really had to focus and pay attention. Over the years, however, he learned to slow down, and he was much much easier to listen to. But boy, oh boy, was that a head shake for all of us to hear this kind of level of and it was such important stuff. Like we didn't know where to put all of that, you know. But that was his third ray mind, and he was so prolific in his words, and we used to think he was a genius. He was so bright, and so maybe he was, maybe he is. Yes, yeah. Okay. Highly verbal, communicative, fabricating mind, can make anything fit. Weaving, ability to blend and fuse diverse thoughts. Abstract, absent mind, can become lost in abstract thoughts. Okay, that's what we mean by absent. It's not concrete that much. It's out of touch with the concrete world. Planning, strategic, calculating mind. So it's far-seeing, which is the opposite of being out of touch. This is one that is in touch. So the mind can do a lot of different things, as you can see. Fluid, it's flexible, it's versatile, wide, eclectic. What else? Chooses little from here and a little bit from there. Resourceful. More than one way of skinning a cat, as they say. Circuitous, can go around in circles. It can branch out. It can, like an octopus, you know, all these different tangents, all these different angles to things. Thinking in a straight line is difficult. Problem getting to the point, goes off on tangents. Divergent thought process, brainstorming, they would be terrific in a think tank. And they would come up with ideas just like that, you know. It's a highly intelligent mind. Okay. Any questions on that?
Is it like Scheherazade stories? You know, she starts a story and then goes to another one and then to one. And then in the end, you know, comes back to the first.
I don't know the story.
Oh, yeah,
So
but that's a good example. Yeah, it really is. Because they're the master of the segue, right? They'll segue to something else, and then they'll segue to something else, and then they'll segue, and then they, well, when did I start to talk?
Yeah.
You know, they forget they have to come.
All the way back.
Started, so
Mhm,
they're great.
mhm. Now, don't forget in all of this, the personality is the boss. Personality is the boss, and it can influence the vehicles, right? Many times we think the vehicle influences the personality, and it sometimes does if it's a really strong and potent. But the first rate personality can influence the other vehicles. A seventh rate personality can influence the other vehicles. Let's leave it at that for the time being, okay? But know that the boss is really the personality. But we identify with the way we think. We really do, as opposed to what is our personality. We don't know what that is. So we tend to identify with the way we think. And we think that this is our personality. Okay, I don't want to go into this right now. So let me go out of this and let me go into, go down, I go to something else. So what I would like you to do is to partner up and take a piece of paper and look at these and write down for yourself, unless you don't want to partner up, you can do it on your own, how all of this works for you. These are functions of a mind, what the mind tends to do. Maybe on your own would be better, and then sharing. Maybe that would be better, so you can think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just pull up a chair here. I'm not using this chair.
It's not very clear.
It's not very clear. I think it's going the other way.
How's that?
Is that better?
A little bit?
Yeah, you want to move your table over a little?
No, but it's okay. Now I can see.
Okay, so is there more down here? Like, is this the end? Yeah, there's still more. So I can't seem to get it all on one page. So I'll give you a little bit of time, and after that, I'll move this down and you'll do the rest of the stuff that's there. Because this should be higher. I don't know why it's low.
So we're to identify which of these.
Not
products-
which, each one of them, how does your mind work? What's your mode of motion in the mind? How are you accurate, and do you delineate? And you just identify that for yourself. What about firmness and resolution? Is your mind into being firm, and does it resolve things? What about flexibility? Do you have flexibility in the mind? You know, what about decisiveness? Are you one that makes decisions very easily, or one that doesn't make decisions and has difficulty making decisions? Are you into management of detail in the mind? Do you look at the details? By the way, look at the tulips today with all the
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
'Cause the
They
sugar.
perked up.
see, they perk up.
And I put them near the window,
Yeah.
so they get some.
Yeah. Yeah, you put sugar into tulips. So, yeah.
So we're supposed to put a number beside each one of these?
I don't know about a number, but you just, does it apply to you? And if it does, how much of that, like particularity and management of detail? Do you manage detail or not, or is it not important? Analyzes versus synthesis. And any word that you don't understand, let me know, and I will try to define it for you.
Fecundity, is that like fertility?
Yes. These are all Michael Robbins' words.
So what does he mean by cognitive orientation?
To know. Do you want to know? Do you want to understand?
You know, one of the challenges too here, Eva, is, are we talking about the concrete mind or the abstract mind?
Concrete. This is only for to understand your mental vehicle. Do you want me to move the thing up?
Is there more?
Yeah. Are we okay to move it up a bit? How about up to there? There you go.
Thought. I never knew that they could be spaced.
Yeah, you know, you think things, you think and then you stop and think. I've seen that in people where they stop and think and then they go on, and they stop and they think and then they go on. It doesn't apply to me, but
What is cognitive orientation?
okay, it's wanting to understand. To cognitize is to know, wanting to know. And when you want to know, is it you reason things out, or is it an intuitive knowing? Intuitive is just like that, you just kind of just know. Or do you reason things out? Well, this is it because this is this, and you reason it out.
Has that portrait mind. He
Mhm.
loves to embellish a story.
Yeah.
He loves to drag it out and make it more dramatic.
Mhm.
I hate it because it's rarely factual.
Mhm. See, that goes to show the kind of mind she's got, right? She's just talked about some of the most important, well, she used a very important word to describe her mind. You know, and I listen to a lot of videos and there's a lot of ideas that come out and I cannot regurgitate it because they're facts. And I cannot keep the facts in my mind. But I know the concept and I know the whole idea. I can talk about it, but I can't keep the facts. And nowadays you need facts. Hey, it's Donna. How are you, Donna?
There you go. Was it a meeting?
These are like liberties and
I wanna say.
That's all right, they can sit here. Yes, sit there.
So those are just the strengths and weaknesses of each of the rays.
How are you, Donna? I heard you weren't well yesterday.
Yeah, very tired lately.
Don't get much sleep.
So if you're completed, when you're completed, why don't you share with a partner your findings? And you should be able, by the time you're all finished, to conclude the ray on your mind. Because you've now been exposed to 3 different types of minds, and you should be able to conclude.
By answering all this or reading this, you can figure it out.
That plus what you heard me teach you about the three different minds, 5th ray, 4th ray, and 3rd ray.
Because this is like a combination of the 3 of them.
This will let you know, yeah, this will let you know how your mind thinks.
First, well,
We have the 1st as well. Yeah, so 5th, 4th, 1st, and 3rd. So we did all of that. If you have any confusion about any of that, I'll be happy to go over that again with you.
Because like, from my point of view, for example, the last one, how you describe the situation, it depends. If it's something that I care about, I would describe it in, but if it's something that just passed by, I could say, you know, a car passed by.
But that, everybody's like that. Everybody's like that, but we're talking about it in general. In general, how, do you use a lot of words to describe?
I'm Scheherazade. Talk and I remember things that has connected.
So you're linking, you see, you're linking with this and you're linking with that. Okay. Okay, so 4th ray on the mind, so there you go. And so now sit and discuss it with someone else, why you think that you have that particular ray of the mind.
About writing in a artistic and beautiful kind of way.
Sometimes it's not.
okay, no problem. So I think it's just moves like that.
So
I'm just like,
then what
that's-
happens?
Right, so That.
Oh, so these are just all the different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so that means it's not. Immediately cut off. Already. Either form.
But she's still on the bridge, one thing inside, right?
Right.
So,
I would say like.
three.
So.
It's like, I like high
If you think about.
Yeah.
I like high
The mosquito is.
Like, that's not
Well,
natural.
it's not like creativity.
But I like.
It's not.
I know, but no,
It's always. And that's on the web as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think, if it was like.
Yeah, well, organizing for five.
It's separate, but also. So basically.
Yeah.
But there.
I'm talking with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know what the difference is about material. Brandon, all of these things you talk. But if they say, you know, the shoe is first. Yeah, so. So. I'm thinking about.
Like if someone's explaining something to me, I'll sort of repeat it back to them. So if I understand you correctly, you're trying to see it almost like.
Right.
Yeah. So I.
Yeah, I think that's very. Cool. Yeah.
So it wasn't a great.
Yeah.
I think that is a quality, so not.
I'm the same way.
I think that is. Right, right. Yeah, I'm basically not like. Right. But that's the thing, right? Here, like, for some of these. Like seeing both sides. So you're saying, right, like, different situations, depending on the situation. It can But that's also like personality, right? So there's personality and then there's.
Oh, so this is like more like inclusive, this is more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know all the facts.
Yeah.
You know the.
Email, this is more private, but I have a lot of.
Okay, so then I consider it at the bottom.
And I look at my dad's side, I wake up and pile all over.
Yeah.
When you keep on learning, that lot of you find the.
Right, exactly. So even in matters of.
And we haven't talked about more yet.
loyalty. Respect them.
Is that true?
Say, no, this is mine, I'm proud of it. I wouldn't say. So, besides the next, I would say like 60%. I really decided. 40%, I would say, we can debate.
Yeah.
But for you, so I say 50. Right. Okay. And your particular management, so this I was content because when you think about
So tell me about your
think about applying a truth.
Well, I'm
or think about a university or study itself. Generally, is there a lot like particular, or is just big picture, how you feel the way?
I'm creating something that looks like
Exactly.
I started with the big picture.
Right, but the initial preference is to go with the right, so I would say that, so you don't care about particular.
And then I read some of all the details and then I.
Yeah, like
Details.
Yeah.
One of the four parts.
That was any of this,
Part two.
one or zero. It's a easy degree.
So, but I started with understanding
This
the
item.
picture first. And then I read the thing and then size it into.
That's a very big deal.
And then whether it's, but starting with those first four principles.
So
Why?
all of them considered. This one is
Find and then manage.
All of these ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I said that word.
So,
Yeah.
definitely not one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not.
Yeah.
This one here.
Direct analysis, direct or indirect, definitely.
I'm not.
Anyway.
I mean, I detail everything.
Yeah, even
Like
like,
I really.
when I look at my
That sort of
it's very interesting. So when I'm speaking about a subject, it's very, but it's very.
Yeah, like it's like
How
that
they can
example
look
that
at
you were trying to understand myself.
It's always this.
Of this whole thing of law pertaining to real
So.
and then software.
Focus, converse all of
Different areas in a huge large, and then I organize it.
So-
Categories that came up.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and this one is interesting.
Well, that's what they said.
I think that all this is divergent. So leaders can go some now. Right. Literality. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's. Yeah, like I started out with one.
Yeah, literality.
Now, I'm still in the process of doing that, but I'm actually trying to do it first. I thought if I had a bigger vision, I might be able to. Yeah, yeah. So if you come from there, I was like, say, like, put it together. Like, I know that I'm like, it's kind of like, I did start like.
Yeah.
It started with like, it started with like. We talked to them. And then I got.
Yes. Or,
I would like to include this in the bigger picture of working with other components.
or you think I just don't feel I can get away. So I think your tuition is
I took out this whole thing.
and I think really like to experience many years of quality of it. It gets better or it gets worse. So.
But they also. So that's.
And I
But
would
I see it as like.
I won't necessarily go for it.
Find it in.
But how fast? And I feel really
So it's very synthesizing sort of process. Yeah, I'm not teaching. It's right away, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, what about it?
But I'm on, I try to from there.
So that's what we're. Yeah.
It's not an immediate, yeah. That's very good.
Yeah, so here,
You have to.
It's a-
Creativity and music is good. Get all the information.
So.
Like for instance here, it says
One
it's
free
there,
thought.
right?
I mean, follow the.
But I don't have these.
I won't explore it, but if these things are larger, then this is, I would still follow.
Because.
I will still follow.
Right.
You're.
Here's
At
Yeah.
least it's that.
It's like my goal is to make money.
Organization, I would say.
I want to make money and
I'm not too
how
organized.
we do it. Okay, let's, they have a different process for doing it. They might say, okay, let's take action because it's more per hour, or something like that.
Spacing of thoughts is very low, and very low
My
time
rising, I
between
think,
each
is
thought.
Capricorn.
Yes.
There's no space.
Right.
Right, oh, exactly.
Here,
And then the ones at the bottom where it's like, how do you take notes?
like outside of business, right? Like I have this, I definitely have.
I write, emphasize.
These things.
So someone.
Well, to certain extent, people like.
I'll be very.
Right.
Not clean. Like in school, sometimes you have this one right there. That's not at all. It's only points height here. That's it. Right, that's amazing. That's fourth. Exactly. Yeah. You have like a math agent at the top. I'll say emails, but I always go in and ask.
Yeah.
I always have a question.
Yeah.
That's always.
I see that in,
Like,
I
are
see
you
that in
coming?
his class here,
Are we
you should see
this
that in
happening?
Dr.
It's
So
never
on
just
Thursdays, there's.
Yeah, no, never. Yeah, you can.
Because I started.
Right, okay.
And then they were there. You should see them in the battalion. I think you're fine.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
More or less.
scheming.
The Taliban, we were shot.
I would say both.
I personally want to be here when they're studying the yoga sutra.
But sometimes you have to be very sharp. Yeah, exactly. Especially with the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If I lived in just with books.
Oh, I was the one that was getting one of those
But,
fucking guys.
I would say no. I wasn't good at school.
Yeah.
Like chapter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will read the whole.
Yeah.
Just in my.
Yeah.
In my own effort. Yeah, just building upon that.
Yeah.
Like
And then
extreme.
I like descriptive, I would say 50.
Well, Vitalik can definitely.
Like if I'm telling a story,
definitely keep on.
I have friends that are very good at description. And friends who won't use any detail at all.
Tied in.
I have something in the middle.
It's all.
Okay. Yeah, right.
So then the just jump on. It's like, you plug to this and this and this. That's right. The interesting thing to say is that it was like each one of
Yeah, yeah.
That's just your style. You're not wanting one where like.
Exactly. Drawing the connection. Exactly, yeah, I think ultimately that is good. When people have to face everything lost. Like if you're living with your parents or living with your spouse. I think that's when you're frustration.
But you do it in a way that it's very understandable. Very slowly and stuff. I think for someone like me, because
Yeah, that's very important.
It doesn't tell teachers the same thing. When someone's going to
Right.
what you're doing is
Here, I'm also understand.
going by extra script.
Very, very clear in my mind. Oh, I understand.
He just sort of like uses the whiteboard and then draws stuff up there. Yeah, he's even more
for those types of
improvisational.
Because third and very sometimes we should come and later.
So.
Depends, like,
So
the personality ultimately.
Yeah.
So if you have a first rate personality, third rate mind, like. Yeah. Then people might think sometimes you're this. Yeah, actually.
It's actually good that you're explaining it.
You need that.
Yes.
I always skip the teacher.
You're done?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, everybody, let's get together. Everybody's kind of done. The next job is to try to ascertain the ray of your personality. You know, because once you land on the ray of the mind, then it should be much easier to figure out the ray of the personality. Okay. So think that out for yourselves. See what you can come up with, make a note somewhere because you're going to be presenting at the end of the day. Okay, looks like no one's writing. I guess you all know what your ray, the ray of the personality, huh? Okay, good. Good. Okay, guys, when you're ready, we're going to move on to the emotional or astral body. So its vibration is less than the vibration of the mental vehicle, right? The mental has got a higher vibration, the emotional has got less, and the physical has the densest, right? It's the densest, you can touch it. The emotional, you can feel within yourself very easily. You can feel it from someone else, but you don't touch it the same way as you touch your density, right? So it deals with sentient feeling nature and your moods.
Our emotions are our waters. So oftentimes when we think of water, esoterically, we would think of the emotions. When we think of earth, we would think of our physical form. And when we think of fire, we would think of the mind, fire of the mind. Okay. So within the emotions are temperature or decibel levels, right? If someone shouts, that sound is much louder than if someone whispers. That's decibel levels. Temperature, if you're angry, you're hot, you're angry, you can almost feel that anger. That's very Mars-like. If you speak very quietly, it's very Neptunian-like, right? So there is temperature, there's decibel to our emotions. Are you reactive? Do you react right away? Or are you responsive, slower to respond? Think that out. How do you handle that? Do you have many buttons that get pushed? Are you easily agitated? Are you passionate? Do you get excited about something? Very passionate. Do you feel things quickly? And easily moved to hurt? Do you get angry or do you get hurt? Excuse me. Are you moody? I think I said that already. Yeah. Okay. These are very straightforward questions. You should be able to think this out. Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, we'll go there. Well, you. Okay, I think I'm ready. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Okay, so the most common ray for the emotions is the sixth ray, because that's the plane that it's on. I have the chart here. I'm going to show you the chart and you will see the planes in a minute. But the sixth ray is the most common ray for the emotions. I would say 90% of people have a sixth ray emotional vehicle. And those that say they have a second, they used to have a sixth at some point in their incarnations, and it slowly evolved to a second. So a sixth ray emotional is a highly charged emotional. It's excitable. Oh, it's more than 50% of humanity. Excuse me, I said 90, it's 50. Have sixth ray astral bodies. So you can see the emotions are stirred up. Sixth ray decibel level is loud. It's upfront, it's in your face. Very in the moment. Easy to feel by the individual and those in relationship to this person. Whether it's anger, whether it's excitement, whether it's enthusiasm, it comes out, right? All our emotions come out. Sixth ray delivers that greater and stronger than a second ray would. There's agitation. It feels, whoops, this is second ray. Okay, I'm moving on. See, this is covered up here. I don't even see that because there's this thing here that I don't know how to get rid of. I don't know how to get rid of that, so I'll go back. Okay, so it just disappeared on its own, so I can now see. Yes.
Before we move on to second ray, on the sixth ray, in the glamour book, for me, Master Dekale talked a lot about the fanaticism
Fanaticism, yeah,
in the sixth ray.
yeah.
Yeah, is it?
But that's not necessarily emotional. Fanaticism is more of a personality thing.
Oh, so, okay.
How does fanaticism show in, for emotions? We have to think very, very objectively now. What are emotions? Emotions are the way I feel, the way I express that feeling. That's all it is. That's all your emotions are the way you feel. It's not the way you think, it's the way you feel. Well, fanaticism, is that a feeling?
Like very easy to get triggered when somebody disagrees with you.
Right, so you get triggered. That's when you get triggered, how do you respond within? Do you feel it in your system? Do you get upset? Do you get angry? Those are emotions, right? You get triggered because of a thought that, you have certain thoughts about something, so your button got pushed, right? But then there's an emotional reaction to it. It's not a response, it's a reaction. Oh, I just reacted to that, right? You got triggered,
Okay.
okay? But when we're thinking of our emotions, it's strictly emotions. It's their feeling nature. It's feeling is a little different than emotions, but we clump them together. So it's how you emote and how you feel it. How do you feel it? Those are emotions. It's not thinking. Thoughts are different. That's your mental. These are the emotions. And we conflate
Mhm.
all of that together.
Okay.
So the second ray emotional, remember what the second ray is? Love, wisdom. It's soft. It's okay. So the second ray emotional, it feels deeply, sensitively. It's very sensitive to someone else's feelings. It can pick up the nuances of the feeling. Sometimes it's written on their faces, and the second ray will recognize that and can even feel it sometimes. And they, and they feel very deeply. So they get hurt way before they feel anger. Feelings or emotions are often nebulous, subtle, or hard to describe. They don't even know what they're feeling because it's so subtle. And this the second ray can experience fear and can suffer internally, and not necessarily show that. They feel it. Sometimes you see the suffering in the world and you really feel that. How, you don't display it. You just feel that internally. They're sensitive to the happenings out there, right? There's a sensitivity. Tends to feel hurt rather than anger very easily. It absorbs emotional energy and can feel overwhelmed. This is the Pisces description. I've talked about this before. Can feel it, feel overwhelmed, and hold it in many times. It tends to be calm, gentle, serene, patient, non-reactive, and can appear unemotional many times. When the second ray gets agitated, and it does, it's not as fierce an agitation. It's not as strong an agitation as what I showed you for the sixth ray, right? I do get angry. I do get upset sometimes. But this is what it's like. That's it, guys. So your choices are 6 or 2, and be honest with yourselves. And many of us would want to be 2s. Many of us are wannabe 2s.
Maybe in another lifetime.
Maybe in another lifetime, right? So now I got to get out of this. While I'm doing this, think about it, okay? Got it. Get out of sharing, stop sharing, and go to something else now. Actually, it's a good time for a break now. Now let's come back at 10 after.
Yeah.
That's right, we do. There's a tendency to do that, to combine them. But we're trying to do, this is like a laboratory. We're taking things apart, trying to see this piece and this piece, a very fifth ray approach, this little piece, and this little piece. And then we can see the composite of the individual, right? Okay, so where's my stuff?
Jealous love.
Okay, what have I got here? Where are the mental body?
Sorry? Yeah. Oh. What?
Oh, it was just a real. Serious from 911.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a cult. You ever notice he snorts sometimes? He nods. I just noticed that the other night, it's kind of very calm. It's like so like, it's like a snort.
So where is,
Kind of funny.
where is,
Talking about, you know, people's commitment level and stuff, you know, because he deliberately puts on their Friday nights, right? Because he wants to see it, committed, he goes, see contests. He was on Facebook, so he saw my Metallica concert post, he was like, Randy's out seeing Metallica instead of coming here.
where's here?
Yeah,
I think the students.
It's like that person.
and then I noticed. There's just doing understanding through letters of each week, there's only like 5 pages, kind of the same way we did in this class. You understand, right? And I think he's been studying this since like last summer, and we're still only on page like 178. Right?
But his main book is that. That's his main book for.
Something missing.
Yeah.
So going back to my. Same problem.
Of required.
So I believe that my mentor is.
Right.
Same thing. And so I deny.
Right, but it's still part of you.
Still part of it.
But the five, but the one is more.
Correct.
Yeah.
But then I deny.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because you're raised in a certain way, and you just imbibe these qualities without even really.
Yeah.
It's just, they're just there, like they just happen.
Yeah, and then like you have some those showing. The same thing you do, that the weakness.
The dark sides of it,
Dark side,
yeah, and then you wanna get away from that being like that, yeah.
Meanwhile, that's you.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's actually I don't know what's my name. And then from that's the one. But then
You don't want to show.
real.
And so the mental, sorry, the emotional astral body is the same as the personality.
No.
Yes.
So we're trying to figure out the personality right now, right?
No, it's
Something personal, for example.
Okay,
If
so
I get
you
very
think I'm
nice, I
two,
don't
right?
say
yeah, emotional just 2 or.
So you got to add.
Yeah. No, see, I'll say.
One right after the other, not meant to hurt, it's so accurate that it can be hurtful.
Mental and emotional.
Fun, and I
No,
think
no,
that
mental and
people
emotional.
feel a
Oh,
first
yeah.
ray energy.
Emotional.
You can't figure out like where's the issue coming from. Like,
Emotional,
it's coming
just do option.
through the speech
6
and the
of
emotion as well,
and it's very, very
but I
contrast.
don't know like where it is.
You're 6 is very. Aspect. What you say that slow.
Yes.
Oh,
Then say, I will find the world. But if I saw the better.
Yeah,
Yes, I would say, why, simple, but that's usually.
yeah.
You know, yes.
Yeah, no, see, for me, my anger is never reaction. It's always pre-med, like, if, especially if I'm doing something, I'm saying something and I'm angry. I'm thinking very clearly about it, yeah. Like, for example, people sometimes say, like, oh, I'm so sorry I said those things, I don't even know what he said, I was just angry. That's never, like, if I don't know if they're being honest, when they say this, I don't know what they said. But in my mind, I always thought to myself, I don't think I've ever gotten so hungry that like my stopped realizing what I'm saying, what I'm doing. No, it's never gotten that. And I've been very angry. Been through so many things. And so I think my anger is not reactionary. Yeah, it always and the brain, yeah.
Give the space, give the space.
Yeah.
Opposite process. Always, he mentioned always, if you. Give space.
Yes, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I have this tea bag, just has hot water to it. Just hot water to it. There we go. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Wait, it again, and I make any changes that I like, okay. Yeah.
Into it, I just trying to be like, as a habit, don't say just.
So now. Go to this. At the time this weekend ends, I'll know how to go in and out of sharing so easily. Okay, so now I want to share that. And I go to, where the hell are you? There. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, so then I want to go to view, and I want to go to slideshow. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did it for a long time.
You did?
My mind spoke to me. Okay, so it's very growing. Okay, so did you I did sweaters for my son.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I love
Thanks, yeah, thank you.
So you can play this up and you find it.
Yeah, I got a pattern on it, but it's.
They sell patterns, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, so I'll show you.
Yeah, I've seen they sell even design dress and you can buy it. So. Yeah, so on this side.
And then right now, in High Park is the cherry blossom trees. We're all swelling, blooming for about 2 weeks. It's happening one day. I looked at the list of all of what's open. And one of the ones that I haven't seen before, and I should see is the Village of Chicago. They're gonna open now. That's a public thing, right? They're trying to take you on a tour of the whole. Oh. And there's, like, I've flown out of there. One building that I really want to know is, well, I tried it. I've done it before. It's now it's hospital. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's now it's a hospital, but what they do is they use the cells. They use cells and offices. Oh, yeah. All that, yeah. That is. Executions there. Yeah. Another one that's very, yeah, water.
Very hard to see all of that from here.
Yeah, we might have to like zoom in maybe.
Dim the lights?
Oh, yeah, dim the lights.
I'm gonna just do what that will do.
I'm gonna turn down the curtains.
No, that's all you need.
Yeah.
That's much better.
It's just stuff.
I was, I saw it over there. Oh, okay, that's why you did where you cooked it. From the coat there.
That's better.
Sorry.
I'm just going to take a picture and.
Yeah, you do that. You get out of the way.
It doesn't matter.
I didn't realize how faint everything was. I have another one of this that's much deeper, but I can't find it. Much stronger. Somebody colored it and it's much stronger, but I don't know where it is.
Thanks to those who brought in the Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Yo.
And the clementines are delicious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the light off so that you can see a little bit better. I think it's clearer with the light down, but and it's daylight, so you can still see the right. Okay, so are we ready? I think we are, even though I said 10 after, but it's fine. Okay, so let's look at this chart. This chart shows you the planes of our solar system. As everything else is divided in 7, so is this. We have 7 chakras. Remember, 7 is a magic number. So we have 7 planes. This is called the cosmic physical plane. So you can imagine what on a cosmic level, that there is a cosmic physical, there's a cosmic astral, there's a cosmic mental, and it goes up. I mean, can you just, it's mind-boggling. I can't even imagine, because these planes, as you get beyond our soul, it's so abstract. It's like hard for even me to think about it. So number 7 is the physical plane. This is our physical plane, and it starts off with the dense. This is the dense that we can you see the wording from where you are? Why don't you guys come up? Seriously, this is an important, or take a picture of it or whatever you need to do. Yeah. Because this is important. And I have a better one, but I can't find it. I have one that someone didn't color. Well, the Canadian shadow.
This is one of the people. Quite the evil laugh, Sophie.
It's your phones.
Deceptive, you know, for years. They would show the planes equal, right, and stacked it on the other.
You're creating a shadow there. You're creating a big shadow here. With your hand, that's your hand. It's your hand. There you go.
And they, oh, yeah,
No, I'm on this.
so,
Supposedly they're independent,
Yeah.
it's not like layers.
yeah, exactly. So, it's, this is, and then you move on it for learning. Clean it.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah, you can't absolutely just messes up your thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, guys, so why is this important to know? Because I keep referring to the various planes and how you have no choice but having this and this ray on that particular vehicle. So the constitution of man is comprised of really only part of this, but let's start with the bottom one, which is the physical. So the very bottom is the dense. You can see that, right? You're looking at your photo. The dense is our physical form, dense. Liquid is the water. It's our tears. It's our feelings. It's emotions. Gaseous. Well, we know what gas is, right? You know the gas. So that's the three lowest, the basest of all of them as far as vibration is concerned. Then we move into the ethers, and they're always referred to as the four ethers. So you have them again, different levels of vibration in these ethers. So the bottom seven here make up the physical plane. Then we move up to the sixth plane. It's called the emotional plane. Because this is the emotional plane, this is where our emotions are. And therefore it is number 6, or the sixth ray, that is the most common of all the emotional rays. The seventh ray would be also a very common ray for the physical form, which we're going to be dealing with next, because it's on the plane that's the 7th plane, right? So then the emotional most common is the 6th. We move up a plane and it's the mental plane. The mental plane is 5, right? Number 5. That's why the 5th ray is the most common ray for the mind, because it finds itself on the 5th plane. Within the 5th plane, which is a complicated plane to think of, you have what is known as the mental unit. This is moving like crazy because I touched it. Okay, the mental unit. The mental unit is on the 1, 2, 3, 4th. The 4th subplane. Is it that I count correctly?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Fourth
The
subplane
4th
of the mental
subplane of the mental plane. The mental unit represents our personality, the sum total of everything we've achieved up to that point. It's on a 4th. Now, if you go up a plane, you go up a little bit, you're in the 5th, and that's when usually the egoic lotus used to be on the 5th subplane, but it's moved up. I got this right. This is the 7, 6, 5. So I didn't do this right. What is the one in between? Anyway, the egoic lotus is usually on the 5th, and that's why 5 is a very important number for the egoic lotus or the causal body. And so really between the personality and the causal body or the soul, there's not very much. There are not very many levels. So it's not hard for us, believe it or not, to reach soul. It's not hard. It's only one plane up or one subplane up. Then we go into more abstract stuff, which we call the spiritual triad, which has to do with higher mind, which is the part of the spiritual triad. Then we go to Buddhi, we go to Atma, and then there is even the monad also has a triplicity. Everything is a triplicity because there's three aspects to deity, so everything falls into that same lineup. I don't want to go to too much abstract stuff because it doesn't apply to us. So there's no point doing that. It's just going to be confusing. But the most important thing is to realize seventh plane has to do with our physical form, sixth plane has to do with our emotional form, and fifth plane has to do with our mind and our soul, right? That's why it's not hard to reach to soul level. So it's not miles away. It's very, very close. Okay, got that, right? Okay, let's go escape. Do I escape this? And I move on to something else. Okay. Oh, I guess I have to do it this way. Fine, just figured it out. Okay, so the yeah. Unless you'd like to see this better this way.
Well, I can't.
Yeah, and actually the lighting for the recording will be better.
Okay, all right. So the physical etheric body, and we know by now what the etheric is. It's your vital body. It's your energetic body that underlies the physical. It's the nervous. It's where the nerves are. It's where in Asian Chinese medicine, it's the acupuncture points. It's etheric. That's the etheric. We talked about that yesterday. So the physical body and the vital etheric body, the choices are ray 3. Why ray 3? Because we are living on the earth, and the earth is a third ray planet. The energy of the personality of the earth is third ray, and it's the physical form. So you're on the earth. So third ray is very, very comfortable here. So third ray, seventh ray, sometimes first ray, and sometimes sixth ray. Those are the choices you have. Each ray type can be discussed into the following categories: morphology, which we'll look at in a moment, your shape, your structure, and the vitality of your physical body, your body's behavior, the energy, the movement, rapid speech, rapid movement. You'll notice this young man shakes his leg a lot. That means there's a lot of energy in his physical body. It speaks to a third ray body, just in case you don't know that. Within this field, the character, yeah, she looks like she has a third ray. Okay, so we'll go into that in a minute. The third ray is resilient, it's agile, it's robust, adaptable, casual. It likes to be casual on the physical plane. It doesn't, like, if you have to wear a suit, you want to take it off as soon as you get home because you want to be casual. Ease with the physical plane. Body needs movement. It gets restless very quickly, and it can be comfortable with disorderly. Now, this is just the physical body. This is not the way you live, because when you live is a personality thing. So, third ray still. It's the most common type of body. It's an all-purpose body, often in movement, even when sitting still, like the shaking of a leg, or the twitching, playing with the hair, or doodling, or, the body needs to be active. Crocheting maybe, or doodling. Physical resilience and endurance. It's a very strong body. It can take a lot. It's a body, I think I have this somewhere in my notes here. It's a body that can take a licking and keep on ticking, right? You know that expression. Durable, all-purpose, rough use, a body that keeps on, there you go. Not delicate nor especially sensitive to pain. Doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It's just not all that delicate. On the physical plane can be relatively inattentive to physical order and detail in the environment. Again, the personality can override what the actual physical body likes or dislikes. rapid speech and action. They can rush from one point to another. Less etheric. The mesomorphic type of body, which can be a muscular frame, strong, sturdy, active. It used to be what we would refer to as a peasant's body, a farmer's body that can take a lot, right? They used to work out in the field. They could take a lot of hard work. It's a body that can take that kind of rigor that you put it through. I'm sorry? Mesomorphic. It's right here. Mesomorphic. And we're going to have body shape, so we'll see it in a minute. Oh, okay. The ray of your physical body is the ray of your brain. Is the ray of your brain. And it affects the way you think as well. So you've got the mental body, which can be fifth, but if you have a third ray physical, it affects also the brain. Hence, you can have fast speech. You can have, talking, as I said, talking very fast, like nervous, like it can come out that way, fast. So physical form is also the brain, which hardly ever gets talked about. Yeah, there you have the various bodies. I don't know if you can see this. Endomorph is a little bit on the heavier side. Mesomorph is sort of in the middle, right? It's in the middle between the thin, which is ectomorph, and the endomorph. So it's a body that is sort of in the middle. It's not stocky, but it usually is a fairly large frame, a fairly good frame, solid bones, things like that. Same thing with women. You have the mesomorphic. It should have been in the middle, just like the one for the men is in the middle. Mesomorphic is a fairly well-shaped body. Ectomorphic is a thin body, and endomorphic is on the heavier side. Okay? It's a strong, sturdy body. We're going to go into the seventh ray in a minute, and I will give you the differences between the two. So the seventh ray, why? Because it's the seventh plane, right? So it'll be tendency to have a seventh ray body. It's a trainable body because seventh ray is about cycles. Remember the cycles? It's very trainable. It's very it conforms to the physical plane very easily. It's a graceful body. Remember, seventh ray is about grace and about protocol and doing everything the right way. It's habitual. It likes to do the same thing all the time. Go to the coffee machine, go to the bathroom, go to the shower. It does the same routine all the time. Body likes that. Go to sleep at a certain hour. The body needs that. It's a refined body. It's a body that, if you remember back, I'm aging myself, Jane Fonda, she had a beautiful seventh ray body. There was grace to her movements, right? I haven't kept up with the latest stars, so body needs routines. The positive is on the top and the negative is a little bit on the bottom. The body needs routines, oversensitive to the environment, lack of resilience. Why didn't I see that for the third ray? What happened to that? Did I have that for the third ray?
Well, that one wasn't.
The resilience? Yeah, this is a.
Yeah, restless.
I did have. Did I not show this to you guys? Oh, well, I don't remember that. Okay, so it's the same idea. It's the top is positive, the bottom is the negative. I did go through that, I remember. Okay, so the seventh ray. So here's some more information. It's commonly found, it's refined or delicate, more formal, graceful and poised. A body is easily trained. It needs and likes its routines. Broken routines such as in travel results in a lack of vitality. So those that travel a lot, if they realize that they're very tired or that their functioning of going to the bathroom on a regular basis gets totally disrupted, sleep gets disrupted, it's because the body's more sensitive, right? Etheric sensitivity, there you go. Meso-ecto in form, a blend between the mesomorphy and the ectomorphy is the seventh ray. So therefore it's a beautiful body. It's not a sturdy, thick bone body. It's more refined. Meso is muscular and husky, and ecto is thin and angular. It is a blend, has strength but also sensitivity. Inclined to use hands in healing or in construction. Seventh ray is the builder, and the hands are the instrument of constructiveness. I wonder if I have any more. Well, there you go. Ecto, meso, and endo. So what is the difference really between the two? Third ray bodies are strong. They tend to have a thicker bones. They tend to, as I said, be strong, can handle a lot of hard work. But if you have a seventh ray personality, it influences a third ray body. Like in my case, I have a third ray body, but I have a seventh ray personality. So therefore, I like my routines, and my body likes the routines because I've enforced that on my body, right? My body physically, it's trainable because I've enforced that on my body. Like I can ski, I can cycle, I can dance, I can do that. And my son, who has a third ray body, seventh ray personality as well, was on the Canadian national gymnastic team. His body was trainable, but he had thicker than and taller than most kids, and too hard on his shoulders and stuff. And he finally quit it at the age of 21. My point is, you can the personality can influence the lower vehicles. Okay, so it's very important for you to think, what does my body itself want and need, not what I like it to do, right? Because I like my routines because I have a seventh ray personality. I really do. And I've enforced that on my body. I go to sleep at a certain time. You know, I like my routines. How do you when I was younger, I used to be able to sit on a bench and fall asleep and sleep if I needed when I was traveling. I can't do that now. I've gotten a lot older. But see how resilient your body is. How sensitive is it to dyes in clothing, to foods? How, if it's sensitive to, does it have that kind of allergy, that kind of physical form allergy? Not to say the third rays don't have that. I don't want to make blanket statements here, but seventh ray bodies are more sensitive. Okay. What can I say? Like I always used to say, how do you travel? Basically, how do you travel? Do you adapt to your environment when you travel, or does it take a long time for you to adapt? Even though you're tired, how easily do you adapt? Okay, so let's see if there's anything else. There is a first ray body. First ray body is strong, very strong, hardy, bony, so tend to be on the slim side, thick skin and physical intensity. I tend to think of a first ray body as some of these basketball players. And I remember when I was moving one year, and the moving van had three guys. One guy was a little short guy, skinny as all, and he put the refrigerator on his back. So he had a first.
Those wiry moving men are the classic first.
Exactly. Wiry moving men. So there's a wiriness to the first ray. There's also a large head emphasis, like a slightly large head. Were you with us with Jean-Paul de la Fernier? He had a typical first ray body.
Oh, yeah, he did the trampoline.
No. He was in our classes. He was tall, and when he sat and he crossed his legs, I'm telling you, it was all legs. All you saw were the legs, because he had long legs. He was tall. He was skinny. He had a really nice shaped head, head emphasis. So first ray body, for sure. Tightness, stiffness, awkwardness, and not touchy-feely.
No hugging.
Right. They have to learn to hug. So first ray bodies, if they get married or they have a spouse or whatever, they have to learn to accept all of that touchy-feely stuff, you know. Less common than third and seventh. A strong body can be pushed. Because of lack of feeling associated with the first ray, the body does not feel pain quickly. They will often not notice bumps, cuts, bruises until later and wonder how the injury occurred. They can have a stiff, awkward, or sudden movements, like, wasn't this guy Bolt? Wasn't he a fast runner or something? He had these sudden movements. I remember thinking that's a first-rate body. There's often a heaviness of foot. This body often spills things. So my grandson, I think, has a first-rate body. And in my home, the lower level is where their bedroom, the kids' bedrooms are. And when he would go up the stairs, I'm telling you, the whole house shook. And this was a little kid. And till this day, he's still thump, thump, thump. First-rate body. He's got a big head emphasis. And he used to be wiry. He's gaining a little weight right now, but anyway. They have a lot of power, intensity on the physical plane, fast metabolism, so they can eat more than, more than most people and not look like they're gaining weight. Lanky, ectomorphic, yet can be very strong, like the movers. Degree of slenderness, angularity, wiry, usually strong. Like basketball players is what I gave as an example. When not tall, will always have a solid body. The joints, the knees, the elbows will be bony in nature. The body bumps into things. Physical detachment, isolative. They're very comfortable on their own. Ascetic, inclined to keep to oneself. A strong head emphasis. So I've already. Okay, so that's basically the three choices that you basically have. We have here a sixth-rate physical body. It happens a lot more in the States than it does here because the States is a
Sixth-rate country.
You got it. Right. There's always resonance with where you live, right? Sixth-rate country will have more and more people with sixth-rate bodies. It's loose, it's what we call loose, moist, lymphatic kind of body, tends towards fullness, insulation, comfort, responsive to astral currents, great physical attachment. I hate to say this, but it's often the ones that we see that are unbelievably obese. And I remember the first time I ever went to Florida, I saw all these heavy people. It blew my mind. Like, we don't see that here. We see the odd person that's really, really big, but there it was like normal. And I was out of normal. But, and they're attached to their foods and they're attached to there's a lot of physical attachment, their comforts, whatever they are. So that's a sixth-rate physical body. And I did a workshop in Colorado, I remember, and one girl kept saying that she thinks she has a sixth-rate physical, but she's too embarrassed to say that it's a sixth-rate physical, but she looked like she had. But then again, overeating can lead to obesity too. It doesn't mean that every obese person is a sixth-rate body. So they have to kind of fit into some of these characteristics. Okay, so you got your choices. So decide for yourself which you are. Again, this just basically says what I said: loose muscle tone, endomorphic, moist, lymphatic, fluid accumulation. People will say it's my glands, body very responsive to astral currents, brain predominantly the servant of the astral body rather than the physical body. Body easily subject to addictions, great physical attachment, physical tenacity and persistence, tends towards fullness, insulation, and comfort. Okay, so write it down. Here's a look at some of these things. I think that's my last slide on the physical form. So by now, do you have a better idea of the rays of your lower vehicles? Good. So stop sharing, okay? Okay. So we're going to talk about soul. By now you have a pretty good idea of the various names we call the soul: higher self, inner self, soul. We don't want to confuse it with religious terms. How the soul is used from a religious perspective. Soul is love. That is the mandate of this solar system. It's a second ray solar system. Second ray is soul is love wisdom, and the soul is love, irrespective of what ray is on that is that soul. And what I want to help you guys learn is you don't say I have a soul, like you say I have a third ray body, or I have a seventh ray personality. I am a soul. You are that. That's what you are. Everything else is packaging on top of the soul that you are. It's layers and layers and layers. Okay, so I am a soul. Okay, that didn't work. So let's try this now. It didn't work. Everyone is different, you know, like every time I do this, I either have the thing. So being unconditional, soul's love has no judgment or criticism. So where does criticism come from?
The person.
Right, or the mind. Yeah.
Aspect of the fifth grade mind or the.
Any of the minds, yeah, can criticize or judge. You know, it's there's a very fine line between the two. Soul's love is steadfast, it's constant, it's non-predicated on situation or circumstances. It's always there. You're always a loving being, even though you feel angry at the time, feel a little hate at the time, you're still a loving being inside. Okay, now I got to figure out how to go to the next thing here. This thing isn't appearing. No. I need help. No, nothing is going. It's like stuck here. So the arrows aren't here. Weird. Maybe
Do you know, okay, so it's this one that you're using, PowerPoint?
yeah.
And are you in, do you know how to get to the slideshow mode that you were in?
Well, that was up there. It went up there, but it didn't show that under view. It didn't have.
Oh, I assumed it was like a button here or something. Do you want to try restarting?
Sure,
this?
I can
Yeah.
restart that. So I have
Because
to.
it says it's in preview, but it
Okay,
should say
sure.
PowerPoint.
So I should go out of sharing screen, right?
Yeah.
Stop. Okay, and now let me go back to this. This is there. Everything is
Yeah, so
there.
this isn't PowerPoint. You're fine with that?
I don't care.
Okay. So now I think if you basically full
Go back.
screen this, right?
Go back
And
to.
hit zoom. I think you should be able to
Go back up here, and let's go to share.
So
And
yeah,
there it
there's
is.
preview. Yeah.
There it is.
And just hit share.
Yeah. And okay.
And now if you hit this, does it go to the next slide?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that worked. Okay. All right, guys, we're all set. Thank goodness that there's someone that knows technical stuff. Okay. So we talked about this one already, right? You love it. The love that you are is there all the time. Just have to access it, you know? So the soul's urge is to serve. So once you are really truly connected with soul, that you want to share that, you want to help other people also know that they are souls. So you want to share, you want to serve. And serve does not necessarily mean being in one of those kitchens where you serve food. It can be any form of serve, even as much as standing in spiritual being is a form of service because it ripples out to other people, right? So as long as it's not something for the personal self, it's a form of service. Soul's unconditional love gives strength and courage. Soul's love radiates. Soul is the heart. I kind of showed you before, right? Vertical is you receive your energy, and horizontal is where you give your energy, and it all accumulates right there in the heart. Where's the heart? Not your heart that is your physical heart. It's the heart center, and the heart center is really above your breasts, and it's not in the middle. It's right up here. Right? This is the heart center, not here, not here, here. Okay, beauty is a light in the heart. There's not a lot to say here about soul, just basically that it's love. In all cultures and myths, light was the first something that issued forth and was birthed. In the beginning, there was light, right? So light is the soul. It is the emanation from deity of this, of love, and of the second aspect. Light illumines, therefore all can be seen. Soul is the light of life, and so brings lightness to life. When you feel soul connected, there is less weight. You don't feel as heavy. That expression, being plugged in or being in the flow, that's all, those are all soul qualities. Soul is compassion. Soul is flow, or being in the flow of life. Soul's love is wide, expansive, and inclusive of all, irrespective of race, color, just like what you read at the beginning. Irrespective of all of that, we're all connected. It's one's true vocation, being in his or her element. The doing is so pleasurable that one loses oneself in the activity. It's the source of one's most joyous activity.
I see these quotes. And one is from Mahatma Gandhi, which says the way to find yourself is lose yourself in the service of others.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
so
Because then you forget about yourself. The whole idea is forget about yourself. We're too always thinking of ourselves. We're self-referencing, me and I and this, I do this, I do that, I am this, I am itchy, I am not, there's too much focus on oneself. You lose yourself in work that you love to do. That is soul work. And most of it is for the benefit of others, right? And you see that in children. How often do we go up to babies and go, coochie, 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 coo, and we get such a joy in our faces. We feel the joy coming out from our hearts to these little kids. Children bring joy from us, because they are still in that subconscious level where it's they haven't yet put on all those layers where they're in the world the way we are. So they express the love that they are. That's what kids do. I mean, I look at this picture and it makes me so joyful. Soul is one's heart's desire. Soul is that which fulfills us. Soul is not personal. And you often have to ask, do I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing? One's soul or consciousness or awareness is sparked. It sees, hears, and invites more all the time. You can't put the toothpaste back into the toothpaste. Once you have connected with soul and you know what that feels like, and you know what that sensing is like, you can't forget that it's there. It's there. You see? Awareness.
back to daily life.
That's right. The same way. Absolutely. Awareness asks for more awareness. It wants to make things what? I don't know. I don't know what I have here. Who wants to make things? So maybe I should put a period there. It wants to create. Creativity is of the heart, right? So you cannot forget that it's there once you connect it. And look at the figure at the bottom. It really is a 5-pointed something or other. So it represents, again, the soul. The soul has the desire to live in loving interdependence with others, the yearning to live in service of some ideal, going back to what you said, Donna, the yearning to surrender to the greater good. The soul says, I possess only what I give. I lose myself to find myself. When I surrender to something great, that's when I am strongest and most powerful. The soul yearns for goodness. Each human being wants to lead a good and meaningful life and feels life falling apart when it seems meaningless. Thank you. I can't correct it on this, so I have to remember to do this when I'm out of this. Okay? So, soulless presence and what is in the present. And that's why I said to you guys yesterday, I'm really working on being so conscious every single moment of what I'm doing and what I am. Be conscious, that is soul. If you are in the present, there's no magic to it. Just stay conscious. Just stay conscious. Soul is one's sense of the sacred. It's one's true guidance and most joyous activity. I know I'm repeating myself here, but that's okay. The soul is the core of the human energy system. Psycho-spiritual growth cannot occur without the soul. What does the soul do? It heals, it integrates, it transforms. Soul creates the design for our life and wields the power, love, and wisdom to manifest it. Like you said yesterday, it's got a plan. We have a plan before we incarnate. This is what we need to accomplish in this incarnation. Once we transform our personality to become a fit instrument, the soul utilizes it to accomplish its purpose. So that's why the personality is important, right? Accomplishing soul purpose is truly our heart's desire. Soul-filled living means experiencing abundance, joy, beauty, and truth. The good, the beautiful, and the ugly.
Good, the true and the beautiful.
Yeah, the truth. So what does each ray truly of a soul nature want to do? By now, this is not hard to figure out because you know the rays, right? So the first ray wants to liberate or to free. The second ray wants to illumine. It's light. It wants to teach or to illumine. The third ray wants to convey the mind of God to give concept form. Fourth ray wants to at one or to unify. Fifth ray wants to reveal. Sixth ray wants to uplift or redeem. And the seventh ray wants to bring to form so that deity can be expressed in the form. Let's see what I have here. Soul can be any one of the seven rays. Soul is the breath of the divine. But the time right now, the cycle in which we are living in right now does not really bring in, there's going to be a better word than that, does not really attract first ray souls. We're not sufficiently evolved as a humanity. We need much more evolution for first ray souls to be here, because first ray is about destruction. It's will and power. And if it's not used correctly, it's very destructive. And we're seeing that with first ray personalities all around us. So we are waiting for humanity to reach a point of evolution where it will be able to sustain first ray power. But we are told that fourth ray souls are now going to start cycling in. It's since the Renaissance period, the fourth ray soul has been more latent, more hidden, more withdrawn. That's a better word. And now it is starting to come in with the moving into 2025. So we're going to see more fourth ray souls than we have, which if you think back of the Renaissance, this is when there was so much beautiful art, when there was music, there was philosophy, there was so much that came through, be it Germany, France, whatever those, Italy, thank you, whatever those countries were. We're going to see more of that if we live long enough. Otherwise, it'll be in the future. So, all souls create and are creative. I've got the answer here, but I wanted you to figure this out. All souls create and are creative. So I was going to say, which soul is creative? All souls are creative. All souls love. All souls love. Second aspect, how that love is expressed through what service or creative endeavor speaks to the ray of the soul. I am a teacher. I am an educator. That's a second ray soul work, right? All souls are powerful. We all have power, which is first aspect. The power of the soul is presence and what is in the present. This presence gives a feeling or understanding of the now, the real, and how impermanent all forms are. This allows for total creativity and non-attachment. So then the ray of the soul is refined. It's a refined expression. It is a high, an ideal, pure, non-personal, although it moves through the personality. Basically, you already know all of this, but we will look at it again. First ray soul's expression would be freedom, being a visionary and benevolent leadership. Liberate from all that hinders. Act as a beneficent destroyer. Govern by enacting the law. Wouldn't it be nice to someone governing by enacting the law? Okay, first ray, any questions? Second ray, compassion, gift of understanding and wisdom, to teach others lovingly and wisely. Healing, that's a whole other area for second ray. I personally have tried healing courses. I'm just not a healer, so it's just not in me. But a lot of second rays souls are healers. They do all modalities of healing. The light, they bring illumination, and they have the power to save. Third ray, philanthropy, manifest ideas, comprehend and formulate abstract ideas, communicate spiritual values. Notice the word communicate, and philosophy. Fourth ray, am I going too quickly through all of this? Fourth ray, revelation and expression of beauty. They want to unify, unification, and it's known as the divine intermediary. And power to penetrate the depths. That's why they can express the human condition so well. They understand the psyche of humanity because it's fourth ray and the humanity is on the fourth ray. And they can penetrate into the psyche. Some of the greatest psychotherapists are Scorpio. Why Scorpio? Because Scorpio can penetrate into the depths, and Scorpio is a fourth ray sign. It's fourth ray, so it can go into the depths. It can hold someone's hand while they look in the depths, everything that's hidden in the unconscious and the subconscious. So fourth ray is the power to penetrate the depths. Fifth ray is the dispenser of knowledge. It's the revealer of the divine mystery. Remember the word reveal, fifth ray word, reveals it by shining the light on the subject. It's the discovery of truth, not the truth. Sixth ray is visionary. What other ray was visionary? Thank you. There's a similarity between sixth and many sixth ray people think that they're first ray. Upholder of truth, power to uplift, power to abstract, take it out of the everyday life and into something that is an ideal. Ideal, lift it up high. The divine mystic. The seventh ray is the creator of the form, the divine alchemical worker. What is alchemy?
The transmutation of elements.
Right. So how does it work here?
So this person has the ability to transform, bring about transformation, maybe
How?
psychologically.
No, that belongs to second ray or fourth ray. No, the divine alchemical worker can transform is a very good word here, can transform the human form into something more than it is. It can create a form, a ritual of something, and transform that by bringing the deity down into it and create this wonderful energy. That's a form of alchemical work. You're changing something that's just a bunch of people and you're making it have a vibration of something really, really high. You're transforming it. You're changing its element. Power to vivify, bring the dead to life, as they say. Because it works with the etheric. It can vivify. It create transformation through structure and design, which is basically what I just covered. Okay. So there is a formula for how to show the ray. And the formula is the soul is written off on the left in Roman numerals. You write this down, guys, because this is important to know. The soul is written in Roman numerals. The personality would be written beside it in regular numeral. And then the three vehicles of the personality are vertical. Always the mental first on top, the emotional in the middle, and the physical etheric last. So that's the formula. When we have our whiteboard up here, and when you're all coming up to share your rays, this is how you write your formula. Okay, guys, is everybody here? I think so. No, this, yeah. Is he around?
I think he's in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Okay.
just stop.
I have part of that apple or grape is in my mouth. But I have some of the grapes there. Okay. We're going to look a little bit at the psychology of the soul. Some of this we've reviewed already, we've done, so it'll be a bit of a review is really what I want to say. But hopefully it'll help you get a sense of your personality and your soul. By now you should have your rays, right? Okay. So this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. Oh, yes, it does. Okay. So esoteric psychology is what this field is called. The rays are the whole thing, and everything falls under the rays, whether it's psychology, whether it's astrology, whatever we're looking, it's all underneath the umbrella of the rays. It's focused on the soul as the core of the human energy system. Psycho-spiritual growth cannot occur without the soul. Soul heals, it integrates, it transforms. Soul creates the design of our life. We talked a little bit about that. It wields the power, the love, and the wisdom to manifest it. The design, that is. Once we transform our personality to be a fit instrument, the soul utilizes it to accomplish its purpose. We've done all of this as a review. Accomplishing soul purpose is truly our heart's desire. It means experiencing abundance, joy, beauty, and truth. So this is the human constitution that we did the first day. So now you have a much better idea of how it all is. So by having a roadmap, which is what this is, it helps us understand ourselves and others a lot better. So you have the spirit, which is the highest point that we can achieve, or called monad as it applies to the human being. So it's the father. The soul then is the son, and then the personality is the mother. So we have the father, soul, father, son, and mother. So the personality, as you now know, is composed of these three bodies. I just want to see if we just did that. So but that's a repeat. I don't know why it's there twice, but it is. Soul consciousness is the full recognition of this inner guide, the Lord, the light, the creator. The goal of all sacrifice and effort is of the utmost importance in the path of integral perfection. And this is from the Synthesis of Yoga by Aurobindo. And the realization that we are that permanent core of reality within lies our true humanness, our sense of identity, our power to become masters of our life. And this is by Betsy Carter Haar from Psychosynthesis Workbook. So there's a lot of people that understand this. Okay.
The first author, Aurobindo, is the one that lived in India and created that village.
Right. I went too fast. Yeah, there's what it is. Okay. So 7 streams of divine energy, or 7 qualities, or 7 soul types, or 7 personality types, a little bit of 7. The soul is a unit of energy vibrating in unison with one of the 7 rays and colored by a particular ray. 2 dominant rays, soul and personality rays. Those are the 2 dominant. They determine a person's capabilities and strengths, a person's weaknesses and challenges, and a person's spiritual development involved in the progressive harmonization of personality and soul rays. I think, did we do this at the beginning? Like, is this a review of what we've done? I think we did, we talked about this, but basically there are 7 qualities, because this is an evening lecture. That's what it is. So every human being has come forth along one of the 7 rays, and the nature of a person's soul is colored by the rays. Any of the 7 rays could be your soul. Any of the rays could be your personality. So a person's soul as well as personality rays will determine your unique psychological characteristics. It says here that the spiritual development involves a progressive harmonization of personality and soul rays, whereby the soul ray emerges as the dominant ray. This process differs for each personality and soul ray combination. So each one of us will differ when the soul is more prominent, when the personality continues to be prominent. It all depends on our own point of evolution and how much work we do and wanting, how much desire. See, desire is not a negative word. We tend to think of desire as being only related to astral, but the monad desires too. The monad, so your desire to want to be more spiritual and more enlightened, that heightens and makes your evolution faster. If you desire that, if you just go on with your life and occasionally dip your finger into something like this, it's going to be slower, let's face it. So the 7 rays. Well, all this does is summarize what we already learned. So a second ray, maybe I should go back to the first rays just so that we can look at some of the important things. Purposeful for first ray, fiery, assertive, courageous, fearless, independent, and a bit of a trailblazer. The second ray is inclusive, empathetic, sensitive, understanding, magnetic as well as radiant, which isn't in here, patient, nurturing, and scholarly. Third ray, some of the major qualities: abstract thinker, adaptable, articulate, resourceful, creative, strategic, mentally agile, with broad interests. Fourth ray, harmony, artistic, spontaneous, dramatic, exciting, entertaining. So this is just reviewing what you already know, guys. Mediation, negotiation, peacemaking, and justice.
But these are the souls as well, right?
That can be the soul as well, yes. These are just qualities pertaining to that ray. And where it's used is for everyone is different. For science and concrete knowledge, it's intellectual, it's analytical, it's objective, it's precise, technical, expert, inventive, and lucid. For the sixth ray, devotion and idealism. So self-sacrificing, passionate, tenacious. See, sixth ray it doesn't matter what you say to them, they will hang on to their beliefs. Very tenacious, they'll hold on, mystical, And that's why many of the saints and in the literature that we read, or the Bible, most of them, it was all sixth ray, it was part of the Piscean age. Goal-driven, earnest, loyal, sincere. And the seventh ray is order, process. Process is also for fifth ray. Formality, organization, implementation, and administration. So I can, normally, you would have sheets with this and you would circle the things that apply to you. So do the same thing right now and write down the words that fit you so that you can help determine for yourself your particular ray on the personality and the ray on your soul. So I can, do I persist? Do I follow with loyalty and devotion? And do I sacrifice myself? I can lead, I can govern, I can initiate, I can liberate. Is that who I am?
Take a picture of that.
Yes, please. You can take a picture of any of this. I don't care. There's more to it. The screen doesn't show you the whole thing, so I'm going to have to move it up. Do I theorize? Do I adapt? Do I strategize? Do I create and do I plan? Is that who I am? Do I create order? Do I manifest a plan? Do I manage detail? And do I coordinate groups? Is that what I do? Do I analyze? I want you to circle the things that apply to you or write them down. You can't circle them. Analyze. Do I discriminate? Do I discover, invent, explain how, the hows of how to do this? There's no more on this page. Do I understand people? Do I teach? Do I draw the best from people? And do I see both sides? Do I mediate? Do I create art? Do I entertain? Do you want me to leave this up for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought so. Oh, tea. Thank you. You guys, give me the lead one to move on. So you guys should be able to see the rays here. So the first line, do I persist, follow with loyalty and devotion, and sacrifice myself? What ray are we talking about?
Six.
Correct. So that's sixth ray. So if you've ticked off any of these things, you obviously have some sixth ray in you. Do I lead, govern, initiate, and liberate? What ray is that? One. That's the first ray. Correct. Do I theorize, adapt, strategize, create, and plan?
It's
Three.
Ah.
Do I create order, manifest a plan, manage detail, coordinate groups? Correct, good. Do I analyze, discriminate, discover, invent, explain how? Correct, 5. Do I understand people? Teach, draw the best from people.
Second.
2, correct. See both sides, mediate, create art, entertain. 4th. This is the 4th. So if you were drawn to one line more than the other line, that speaks maybe to either your personality or maybe your soul. Got it? Okay. So I can. Oh, these are the answers. Okay. So behaviors I wish to change. Now, these again are in a line. So each line is a ray, just to give you a heads up on that. Do I want to change my dependency, my emotionalism, my impracticality, and my extremism? Do I want to change my intellectual pride, my criticism, my manipulation, or my busyness? Do I wish to change rigidity, conformity, resistance to change, and perfectionism? Do I wish to change my moodiness, my worry, my extremes, my unpredictability, and my inertia? You all know what inertia is, yes? Okay. Do I want to change my arrogance, dominance, pride, and impatience? You should see the rays here, guys. My self-pity, my non-assertiveness, my oversensitivity, and my neediness. What about my coldness, my narrowness, my criticism, and difficulty expressing feelings? I'll leave this up for a little while, so you can choose. Rita, finish all of that. Okay, so if we go over this again, you should be able to identify the ray very easily by now. Which ray is the top line? Dependency, emotionalism, impracticality, and extremism. Correct, 6th ray. And what about the second one? Intellectual pride, criticism, manipulation, busyness. Mhm. Rigidity, conformity, resistance to change and perfectionism.
So,
Correct. Moodiness, worry, extremes, unpredictability, and inertia. 4. Mhm. Arrogance, dominance, pride, impatience. First, correct? And self-pity, non-assertiveness, oversensitivity, neediness. Second, correct. And coldness, narrowness, criticism, and difficulty expressing feelings. First.
5.
No,
No, difficulty expressing feelings, fifth will all have a word for it.
first. It's the first ray.
No,
No, but you
that's
said
fifth.
that
First is
arrogance, dominance.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe fifth. Okay. But all of that would apply to first as well. Very similar. Oh, I'm glad you caught that. Okay. Behaviors I wish to change. Well, that's the answers here. Okay, I am most fulfilled when I help people learn and unfold their highest potential. When I uncover a truth using a scientific method of inquiry. When I follow a leader whom I admire. When I work within a group that effectively takes an initiative from plan to reality. When I lead others to break through limitations and move forward. I'm most fulfilled when I apply resources like time and money wisely and creatively for the greatest good. And I create beauty. I'm fulfilled when I create order and synergy within a group or an organization. I'm most fulfilled when I mediate disputes and create peace. I am most fulfilled when I think deeply and create philosophical theories and reveal meaning. And I am most fulfilled when I strive with devotion towards ever loftier goals. Are you able to land on one or two of them? When I invent, develop a new product or technology, because this will help you hone in on the ray of your soul. This is about your soul. What fulfills you? It's the soul that fulfills you. So one of these you should be able to land on. When I strive with devotion towards ever loftier goals. I think I said that already. When I invent, develop a new product or technology. I'm most fulfilled when I surmount extreme obstacles to go where no one has gone before. And I'm most fulfilled when I help people in need. So think this out. Look at that and see which ones apply to you. Makes it more practical.
But this statement can be fulfillment for personality too.
It can, but the objective here is what fulfills you the most. Personality is not a fulfilling thing. The personality just does. As the soul moves through the personality, then yeah, you do things to fulfill you, but it's the soul that is the one that you feel fulfilled with.
So if it's a personality level one, it's something you might kind of like, but you don't love.
That's right.
Mhm.
But at this point, and depending on how much soul is moving through you, you may do the things that are fulfilling as a, and it's because the soul is quite infused into the personality. So you end up doing the things that do fulfill you. But the word fulfill comes from soul. You feel full, and you fill yourself up with that which makes you feel full, right? And the fullness comes from the heart. You need a little more time? It's my lower back. Slow. Okay. Oh, did we need to go over the rays? Well, there you go. You know what they are. But I wanted you to go back. I'd rather you figured it out on your own. Okay, help people learn and unfold their highest potential. What is that? Second rate, correct. Uncover a truth using a scientific method of inquiry. Fifth. Follow a leader whom I admire. Yes. Work within a group that effectively takes an initiative form plan to reality. Correct. 7. I'll lead others to break through limitations and move forward. First, good. Apply resources using their time and money and create beauty. Fourth, create order and synergy within a group or organization. 7. Mediate disputes and create peace. 4. Think deeply and create philosophical theories that reveal meaning. Strive with devotion towards ever loftier goals. 6. Invent, develop a new product or technology. 5th. Surmount extreme obstacles to go where no one has gone before. That's right. And help people in need. Good. Have you landed on something, guys? Okay, good.
Landed on 4.
My head, this is now a bit screwed up because it's.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you go back just for a second? Just I want to jot down my 4.
So I delay my spiritual progress by being too timid, fearful, strongly attached to people and or comforts. What else is standing in the way of my spiritual progress? By getting caught up in my routines and mundane chores and by resisting change. Focused on my specialized or technical interests and by being too skeptical of anything that cannot be verified. That's too obvious, that. Emotionally reactive and by being too convinced of the rightness of my point of view. Unstable and vacillating and by being embroiled in the crises of my own personal drama. By being manipulative, by trying to do too much, by getting entangled in my complex ideas and impractical schemes. by being proud, dominating, self-assured, and by being too preoccupied with asserting my authority and protecting my power. So what is standing in the way of your spiritual progress?
That all that your personality?
Absolutely, very good. These are all personality obstacles that don't allow you to progress spiritually because they stand in the way. Okay, guys, let's go through this. The first one, what ray is the one that is timid and fearful, strongly attached to people and your comforts? 2, the second ray, correct. Caught up in my routines and mundane chores by resisting change. 7th. Focused on my specialized or technical interests. Am I being too skeptical of anything that cannot be verified? 5th, correct. Emotionally reactive and by being too convinced of the rightness of my point of view. 6th, yes. Unstable and vacillating. Am I being embroiled in the crises of my own personal drama? 4th. Yep. Manipulative. That gives it away right away. I don't have to say anything else. What is it? 3, right. Proud, dominating, and self-assured by being too preoccupied with asserting my authority and protecting my power. First, yes. Okay, so did you find any of these that apply to you? Okay, so that tends to speak to what personality traits stand in the way of your spiritual progress. These, listen, nothing is black and white. So these are all shades of gray. So, they may or may not even apply to you because we just chose a few things that are of this personality. So you hear the answers, which you already know. Types of occupations for first ray, and again, it's only some types: politician, a lawmaker, an executive. For the second ray, it's teaching, healing, counseling, academia. So like being in a university, a professor, and so on, or writing PhDs and papers and things like that. For the third ray, it's professor, a strategist, finance, business. 2 sides to the third ray. 4th, being a negotiator, a mediator, an artist, an artist. For the 5th ray, scientist, technologist, researcher, engineer, and there's a lot of that out there right now. And you see, some of this might be the mind. Like if someone has 5th ray on the mind and they're very occupied with their thinking process, it may have fit some of the personality traits that were in the way. Understand? Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Make sense? Okay. Sixth ray, devotee, inspirational leader, and preacher. But sixth ray could be, as I said, any occupation. And they bring that kind of inspirational life to whatever it is that they do. And seventh ray finds themselves in administration positions, being project managers, process managers, you know, bank managers, you know, things like that. They manage people. Okay. And key strengths and key weaknesses. By now, you all know this inside and out. Courage versus arrogance for the first ray. Second ray, empathy versus self-pity. For the third ray, creativity versus hyperactivity. Fourth ray, unity versus emotional extremes. Now, we haven't seen that yet for fourth ray, have we? See emotional extremes. We know it's extreme because it's like the pendulum swings from one end to the other end, but this is emotional extremes. So what is in the mind or what is in the personality can start to affect the emotional nature as well. For fifth ray, clarity versus narrowness. Sixth ray, loyalty versus dependency. And seventh ray, responsibility versus rigidity. Got it, guys? Yeah, I can leave it on.
Then don't, so I'm going to analyze. That's why I took all the pictures.
That's okay. It really does help to keep it all
I know,
fresh in the mind
exactly.
when you look at other people. And
Exactly.
it's easier to do others than it is to do yourself.
Yes, that's true. Well, I can, at this stage in my life, I can
Okay, that's good.
pretty well.
Okay,
Yes.
do I move on? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is first ray wields power, but what does it need? These are important things to know because this is all part of the integration formulas that we've learned. It needs to be more inclusive. Because first ray can stand alone, doesn't need anybody, but it needs it, so it really needs to learn to be more inclusive. Why do you think for second ray, which wields magnetism, does it need centralization? Why do you think that that is something that it needs?
It's like the little bit of structure that it lacks.
I'm looking for more an answer that fits a little better. Let's put it that way. So remember, magnetism, it goes out, right? Magnetism goes out. So if it's going out, where is the point of center in the middle? So the first ray, the second ray has to be more standing in its own strength, standing in its center, as opposed to it always going out, including other people, radiating out. There isn't that central energy that goes down into the middle. It's the opposite of the first ray. The first ray needs inclusion. The second ray has too much inclusion, needs to centralization. Centralization could easily have been what the first ray wields. So the two are opposites. Okay. Why do you think the third ray needs stillness? Why?
Busy all the time.
Busy, very multi everything. And why do you think the fourth ray needs steadfastness?
Again, trying to focusing. To stop it from oscillating.
Oscillating or going extremes, right? They're very unreliable fourth ray types. Truth, it wields truth fifth ray, and it needs detachment. Again, I think we talked a lot about that. Why does it need detachment? I mean, we know the word objectivity applies to fifth ray. So if it's objective, why does it need detachment?
You see the big picture?
But how does detachment, will it still get me if I'm sitting here? Just my back is sore, I gotta sit. I mean, the camera.
Yes, yeah.
Camera's okay from here? Okay, so why does it need detachment? So that it's not caught up in its experiment, whatever it is. There isn't an emotional attachment to anything that it does. So it's detached, right? That's why detachment. And so sixth ray aspiration, again, why restraint?
Because you can just go so to extremes, so much enthusiasm, it needs to pull back sometimes.
Exactly.
Just be a little bit more sensible.
Exactly, like the reins of a horse, hold it back. And what about the seventh ray, which wields order? Why does it need orientation? When orientation is one of its qualities.
Well, because that order, sometimes the seventh ray can be extreme on rules and structure when it's not important. So it needs orientation to figure out why, what's important. Why is a rule there? What is the essence of the rule rather than the rule?
That's right. Not to follow the law, the letter of the law, but to understand what it's all about. Right, exactly. Very
Because
good.
they're executor, right?
Pardon?
Because they're executing.
Yeah, they're doing that too, but it's their approach to things, you know. They don't want to break the rules. They want to they get very crystallized in the way and order things are. So by reorienting, you can reorient yourself back to the soul. You reorient yourself back to the east, from which everything rises, right? Everything rises from the east, that kind of thing. Okay, so this, I think I may have done this with you. We've done this slide. So you know that at the beginning you are identified with form, and you're a selfish individual because that's what a personality is. And then, and it's not even a personality at that point. Then the personality becomes, it comes into play, and the personality becomes more dominant. And the coordination between all the lower vehicles starts to play into this whole thing. And you become a little bit more aware of life around you, till eventually, and it is an eventual thing, you become more identified with the soul. So you understand the progress, right? Yeah. And we've done this one. We need to go over that.
We haven't done this slide.
I thought we did. Okay, so we start off with a dysfunctional personality. That personality race starts to emerge. It's still very selfish, harmful, and unstable. The next stage of development is an integrated personality, which we are seeing a little bit more of now in humanity. And the personality ray becomes dominant. It's about me and how I stand out in the world, and the differences that I can make as a personality, and the recognition that I get, and the recognition I want, right? All of that is part of the personality being dominant, standing out in the crowd. And so at that point, you're creative, you're an effective employee or employer, and you're successful in what you do because you're already integrated. We're all the functions of thinking, feeling, and acting all working together, right? So then the soul starts to infuse the personality. That's the next battle. So the next stage, which creates a battle. What is the battle? It's between the soul and personality. How does it show itself? I think I mentioned that yesterday. How does it show itself, this battle?
Depressed.
Hmm?
Depression?
No.
An inner conflict
Yeah, but what is that inner conflict?
between, your values primarily and your orientation.
Right, so it's your conscience. It's your conscience. And you know how you talk to yourself. Oh my God, I guess I shouldn't have done, I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't right. Like there's the inner conflict, all that there's that duality. Should I, you know, somebody overcharged me or somebody undercharged me. Should I go back and say something? Should I give back? You know, like those are all inner kinds of conflict. It's your conscience. And those without a conscience can do whatever they want. They can kill, they can maim, they can hurt other people because there is no conscience yet developed. And it can create eventually the dark night of the soul, where you got to really come to terms with who are you? And then eventually soul infusion, soul infused personality, where the soul is dominant. Soul qualities are fully expressed through the personality. It becomes a soul-filled living. It's on your mind all the time, living consciously. And that's why I say, be conscious. Be conscious of everything you say and do, as opposed to unconscious, which is the normal way. We just move through life unconsciously. See if there's anything else. Yeah. Soul influence, personality obstacle. Let's look at the personality obstacle first. Self-centralization. And the soul influence is imposition of will and discipline. You need to have more of that, I guess. No, I don't get that. Personality, I've done this so long ago, I don't even remember what I've done. Unduly sensitive attraction and attachment to form, magnetic drawing of cooperation. I don't know what to say about this because I don't remember how I did this.
I think if the soul influence is not complete, the person's always going to express those.
Yeah, I'm going to pass this because I don't know what to say to that. Okay. Esoteric psychology enables us to know ourselves as souls, as our true identity, to become conscious of our unique pattern of energies, transform our personality to make it an effective instrument to express soul qualities. We're repeating things, I know that. Discover our soul's purpose, align our career with the type of service that our soul wills to render, and find our spiritual group, which for most of you, you found it here. Live a soul-filled life, where you experience truth, joy, beauty in all your relationships and in your creations and in the work that you do. I don't think I have anything after this. Let me see. Oh, I do have. How do you develop a soul-filled life? Through meditation, through character building, which we're always working on character building, constantly refining. Like I will have people say, well, I used to be reactive, I'm not reactive anymore, which means that you've learned to harness those emotions, those energy. You work on that. You work on cultivating virtues. And there's so many courses out there. There's so many modalities and tools to help us do all of that. The purification of physical, emotional, and mental. So many of us go on diets. We want to cleanse, purify. We take greater control of our emotions, and we learn. We're studying. We're reading books, videos. All of that is mental. So so this is how we purify and work on all three vehicles. The 4 Ds are very important. It's interesting that D is the 4th letter in the alphabet, and the Tibetan has given us these Ds, and we can add a lot more to these Ds. And 4 represents the personality. Think about it. The 3 lower vehicles and the personality makes 4. 5 is already the soul. So this off is number 4. So there's a lot of symbolism here. So discernment or discrimination, you can have that word there too. Dispassion, not to be overly emotional about everything. Discipline is important. Decentralization. The focus isn't only on me. I'm in the center of everything. You could have detachment here too. Detach from the things that you're so attached to. You can have a lot of D's here, okay? And of course, service. I think that's it, guys. Yay, you've done it. Okay, so we can turn all of this stuff off. I'm going to stop sharing.
Although we want to keep filming though.
Yeah, but I mean, this part can be turned off. I can unplug. I can get out of this. End all, end.